Hello there. Well, what a magnificent win for the freedom of expression. This will pee off Big Brother and much of the senior plod quite considerably. They'd got used to policing tweets and sending officers round to interview people who were deemed to be not thinking correctly and then recording their names and details in a hate incident database. But the Court of Appeal has just ruled that recording these hideous, non-crime hate incidents on police databases is unlawful. But the College of Policing does not seem to see it that way, as I'll come on to later. Toby Young, the General Secretary of the Free Speech Union, of which I am proud to be a member, tweeted, "Harry Miller has just won a huge victory in the Court of Appeal. Court has ruled that the recording of non-crime hate incidents is an unlawful interference in freedom of expression." Harry Miller, a former police officer himself, was investigated by police for a poem he posted on Twitter. Here's what faircop.org.uk said about Harry Miller's case, which started back in January 2019. A cohesion officer from Humberside Police telephoned Harry and told him that while his tweets had not broken any laws, he should not engage in political debate on Twitter, because some people don't like it. The police cited 30 potentially offensive tweets, but the police have so far refused to identify the tweets they deem to be offensive. Although no crime was committed, sharing the poem online was recorded as a hate incident. And the officer who called Harry Miller up told him that although he hadn't committed a crime, it was the duty of the police to check your thinking. You know, the complete definition of the thought police. Here's what Harry Miller related about his interaction with the police. "Were any of the tweets criminal?" I ask. "No," says PC Gull. "Then why are you ringing me?" "I need to check your thinking," says PC Gull. I point out that 1984 is a dystopian novel and not a how-to manual, but the reference is lost on PC Gull. He's been on a course, just not a very literary one. And this is the whole point. Why are the police chasing people who have not committed an actual crime? Why are they then spending police resources of time and personnel on such nonsense? But worse, why are they recording these on their databases? Databases that are tied into the criminal checking system that employers use to check up on the suitability of potential employees. Anyway, it seems that the Assistant Chief Constable then weighed in on Miller, sternly warning about escalation and proportionate action. Sounds very ominous, doesn't it? But it got worse. Harry Miller said, "Just in case I hadn't got the message. I ignored it. Inspector Wilson called, urging me to disengage with public political debate. I reminded him of my Article 10 rights. His response was, 'If you don't like it, sue.' Watch this space," said Miller, and he took it to court. So he was told by the police not to engage in political discourse. Who are the police to order that? Political debate and discussion are not illegal. Not that you'd realise that these days when encountering the ever more censorious social media. Maybe this ruling will help ease that whole silliness. One thing though, I'm not sure if it can, but the case might be appealed by the police to the Supreme Court. Anyway, the case went to the High Court, where in April last year the police action was ruled as disproportionate, and Miller said, "This is a watershed moment for liberty. The police were wrong to visit my workplace, wrong to check my thinking." But the High Court judge ruled that the recording of non-crime hate incidents by the police was not disproportionate and served legitimate purposes. But the Court of Appeal has now overturned that, saying that recording such incidents in a police database would have a chilling effect on public debate. And the Court of Appeal judge said that it violated Article 10 of the European Convention on Human Rights, while the Free Speech Union says it also wastes police time. Toby Young said today, "The Free Speech Union is proud to have played a part in winning this landmark victory. But the lion's share of the credit must go to Harry Miller. Thanks to his courage and tenacity, we can all rest a little easier in our beds tonight, knowing the police are not about to knock on our doors because we made an inappropriate joke on Twitter. They should be policing our streets, not our tweets." Now, as I understand it, the whole aim of investigating and recording these non-crime hate incidents was to try and nip the actual hate crime in the bud. That is, to identify people who are talking hate today but might act hate out tomorrow, with the definition of hate incident being any non-crime incident which is perceived by the victim or any other person to be motivated by hostility or prejudice. Meaning the police officer must investigate your thinking to decide if a hate incident has occurred. That is, to allow the police to officially become the thought police, to investigate your words, and if from that they deem your thoughts are down to hostility, then that incident will be recorded. Or recorded just in case anyway. Now, according to the Free Speech Union, 34 police forces in England and Wales recorded 119,134 non-crime hate incidents between 2014 and 2019, and points out that that's an average of 65 a day. Whereas between 2015 and 2021, 965,197 domestic burglary investigations ended without a suspect being identified. But it's extremely easy to get the details of a tweeter or a Facebooker out of social media companies, or better still, if they use their real identities and post their details online. So toddling round to have a thought police interview after trawling through the perpetrator's social media history would not be too arduous an exercise. And then they could argue that if the whole police force acted like thought police, then they could eradicate all crime, because all the criminals would have been identified and dealt with before committing an actual crime, i.e. they've been punished for their thoughts. Something that already happens when you don't toe the official line on climate change and the pandemic, for example. If you're out of line, you get cancelled and risk losing your social life and your livelihood. But at least you won't have the police battering your door down now every time you put up a tweet that someone else disagrees with. Let's hope the police are now scrubbing their databases of these free speech destroying obscenities. But I'm not sure the chief constables and the police in college are going to be very happy about this. They'll probably be claiming that they've lost a valuable tool in the fight against hate crime. The police college has put out a statement on this, and they seem to be interpreting this result as the judge telling them to record these incidents in another way, with Assistant Chief Constable Ian Raphael, College of Policing, saying, "The court has found we need to make safeguards in our guidance more explicit to help police officers proportionately enforce the law. We will listen to, reflect on and review this judgment carefully and make any changes that are necessary. The judgment provides clarity that police have the power to record, retain and use a wide variety of data and information to keep people safe. By recording correctly, the police can gain insight into potential tensions in communities and harm caused to individuals." And the College of Policing itself said, "The government's independent advisory group for hate crime has said recording hate incidents is critical because it often provides the evidence of motivation for subsequent hate crimes and has the power to prevent an escalation into criminal behaviour." And it goes on to say that, For allegations of hate incidents, police need to apply their judgment in establishing whether there is hostility towards a protected characteristic group. If, having applied their judgment and taking account of the full context, no hostility is found, the incident should not be recorded as a hate incident. Now that tells me they will then still be recording hate incidents as they deem fit, despite this ruling. In response to this, Toby Young said, "The Court of Appeal's judgment was unambiguous. The mandatory recording of non-crime hate incidents is an unlawful interference in freedom of expression and a violation of Article 10 of the European Convention on Human Rights." So it will all come down to what the police college gives out as its official guidance further down the line. Question is, will they try to keep a separate, secret database of hate incidents to try and get round this ruling? Sounds like it to me. So what's your opinion on police recording of non-crime hate incidents? Please like and comment below. Please subscribe and like this video, buy a mug and support me on Patreon or PayPal, and thank you for watching.